Hello, this is JilliBling. Thanks for tuning in today. I have a card to share with you, and this I saw on Lorri Heiling's blog, and she has a video of her making it, and I thought I'd love to try to make it today too. And I made it, I think her original was very similar to this card here, and this is using the All Dressed Up designer paper, and I ran out of the original pattern. But that's fine because any paper in that pack will work just fine. So this one, the flowers are petal pink, so I used that as an accent color, just like she did. And then this, I really like the flowers, but I didn't know if the Blackberry Bliss paper would work well, but I like this one too. Then of course, the little purple posy flowers with the mint, that's as cute as can be. So let's get busy making it. We'll be using the stamp set, this Little Piggy, and I've used this one over and over so many times, and it's retiring. I can't believe it. And I'll be hanging on to it because I've used it so much. I like it a lot. And the words with this set, if I open this up, it'll probably make you cringe, but I cut the words away from the little pig so you could use them separately. And every time I've used a set, I've ended up using different words, or it's really worked out well for me. Well, since I've kind of hinted about that, I'll show you. So, can you see that the words are separate from the flying pig? But then the flying pig could be through the air without the words following them. And every one, I cut the words away. Even this one, for instance, the card I'm using today, the word "this little piggy" belongs with this pig. But I wanted the word "says" on it, so I cut the "says" off of the "says thanks." See right here? And you could still use it. It works just fine, and if ever I need to use them together again, this piece will fit right up into place, so it's perfectly aligned. And look how cute all these little kisses are, the little clouds. Love this set. And also, for the inside of the card, see the flowers that match the paper? As I mentioned, this designer paper is part of the All Dressed Up. So, Dress to Impress, these flowers match the paper perfect. So I'll be using those flowers for the inside. Itty bitty greetings. I love all the itty bitty words and birthdays and Christmas. This is a set 1 of 2, so here's words here and also words here. Lots of words in this set. So I'm going to be using the "I miss you," and that's right down here on a little banner. Okay, so let's see, I think I'm going to work on the Blackberry Bliss one today, but I just wanted you to see you could do it in a lot of different colors, and they all look really good. So here's a start. All the products I use, I will put them on my blog, and if you click on any of the links, it'll take you to my store, and then you could purchase any of them. If you purchase the Little Piggy set or $50, let me know. I'll be watching for it too, and I'd love to send you some card kits so you can make this card on your own. So this paper here, I just needed some scratch white to do the little mask, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. I use this embossing folder called Subtle, and that is right here. Can you see it? There you go. And I use that just on the front, and it is very subtle. And this is the inside paper. Inside paper. And I use these 3 dies. Obviously, these 2 layers are for the pig. So that's what this is. This one is the white paper I'll stamp the pig on. I run it through the Big Shot. And then this one is a Scalloped Oval for the little background layer. And this piece here comes from the hearts, the Valentine's, let me see. So I'll be using Stitch Shapes, the oval. I'll be using layering ovals for the scallop. And then Be Mine, I think it's called Stitch Be Mine is for this border. And that border makes this little piece right here for both sides. Okay, and that's what I'll do on here. I'm going to do it, I have washi tape all over it to hold it in place. When I would run it through, it'd end up twisting and moving, so I'm sticking it down. Okay, so I'll do one run pass through here, then a second pass through here, and then I'll trim it right up the middle. And I'll show you about that here in just a second, or in a minute. Okay, and this is paper for punching these words. And I'll show you about that. This is the designer paper for right here. And then there is paper base. So let's get started. Let me keep this right here so you could see the cutest ever little pig. Okay, and then next I need the designer paper, and I need to run this through a couple of times. Here it is run through. And when you run yours through, do you notice that this is a little bit crooked? That's okay. For this purpose, it's just fine. Cut this right down the middle, and all I'm going to use or see is the edge. So if this gets all crazy in here, it doesn't matter. It's just going to go underneath the designer paper. Okay, so now I have those two pieces with my crazy edge there. And get this adhesive as close as you can to the edge so it will hold the scalloped ruffle edge. Oh, and you know what? This paper here, I'm going to use a subtle embossing folder. So when you use the embossing folders, Stampin' Up! Suggests that the hinge runs through first, but this is going to be an exception. I'm going to have to do it a little bit different because the paper is so big. I'm going to put and you need to fold the paper first so you know how far to insert it into the folder. If you didn't, if you just had a plain, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't have a line to guide you. So what I ended up doing was just on the Big Shot, setting it down, getting this in place, folding that over, lifting it up while squeezing it here, and then running it through just like that. So here's one all done. A little bit of texture on it. Okay, so I have the adhesive on my designer paper. I'm going to flip the designer paper upside down and just lay it on this little scalloped edge. And if needed, you can trim. Like, see right here how it's a little bit too big? I'll trim that in just a second. Okay, and then the other side. I want just a little bit of that stitching to show. That's acting as my guide for placing this designer paper on. And that side right there is a little too big. So I'll trim those. Okay, so that is ready to put onto here. And because there's texture, this texture is subtle, like the name of the folder, but if it was a deeper texture, I would need to use tear tape to attach this piece, because otherwise this would just be sticking to the high points, which made it through the embossing folder. So just to be consistent, I'm going to use tear tape. I could do a whole piece, but chances of me getting it the right length are not good. So I'm going to do 4 little pieces of tear tape. Okay, it is ready to stick down. So this is going to go, yeah, I'm looking at the edge here. That looks good. And if you find you have a little bit sticking over right here, you could trim that. What's interesting is the embossing folder, it somewhat changes the size of your top layer. So sometimes you have to kind of move it over a little bit and fold it again. Where's my bone folder? Way over there. Okay, so this is looking good. So now for this scalloped oval and the stitch shape oval, I will use these, run them through the Big Shot. Here they are. So this is going to go in here. Next is the pig. So the pig, because I'm going to do a handful of these, I put the pig on Stamparatus. If ever you do more than just a few, if you don't mind setting up Stamparatus, it sure comes in handy. And I like having a little prop underneath for when I'm inking the plate. Otherwise the plate is real bouncy and I don't want that. Okay, so I have this placed and I have it set up to do, let me get this in the center, to do the oval and also to do the words. So I'll put this here, and then the words, normally I would stamp it and then punch it, but once again, because I'm doing a handful of these, I'm going to punch one of those, put it into place, because now I know I'll get it perfectly lined up. Okay, and then I'm going to use Memento because I'll be using the blends to color the pig. So I'm stamping the pig, and I'm also going to stamp the words that go underneath the pig. Since I have it on Stamparatus, I could do it all in two rounds. So the pig, and it is going to eventually say this little piggy, and I'm going to stamp this at the same time. So watch this. I'll take this, flip it over, and now I'll stamp the rest of the words. And what's nice is it'll all be perfectly lined up. There it is. I pushed a little too hard, but that's okay. So now I'm going to get this out of Stamparatus. And I'm going to color in the piggy and cut this. See the shape on here? How I have that just squared off, and then the end over here, I have it in a flag. So I'll do that now. And that is done with the punch here. And then the other end is done just with the scissors. Okay, a couple dimensionals on here. And I'll use minis. I think 2 of them will do it. Okay, so the words are on. Now I will color in pig. You know what, let me first show you about stamping the dirt. This stamp comes from the All Geared Up. That's supposed to be like an oil slick or something. And I'm going to use crumb cake ink, and that's how I do the little dirt underneath the pig. So let me show you about that. And I stamp it off because if I did it full strength, let me find a full strength one. This one is full strength. This one is stamped off. That's a little bit dark, but it's okay. So either way is fine. Little dirt. That's all it takes. And now I'll color with crumb cake, the dirt down here, a little bit of mossy light, which matches the leaves. Okay, it's all colored. You probably notice his face isn't colored, but that's because I'm going to do another layer for his face. So for now, this is ready to attach. Okay, and then it could go on to dimensionals. Let me keep this one here. And I was trying to figure out, do I like it here or where? I think I like it right in the middle of the card. And I know it does take up a little bit of the flowers, but then with the pig being in the center, it makes it a little less busy, and I like that. Okay, so now to do his little face, stamp a second pig just for the face. And you could color it in first and then trim the face. And you don't have to be perfectly close around the ears, because in the end it's going to be on white paper. So if it isn't perfectly close, white against white, you can't tell. Okay, so I'm trimming it and I'm coloring it. There it is. Isn't that adorable? So for the mask, let's work on the mask. The mask is this paper here. And I'm going to get my score tool. Plunk. Let me make sure you could see that. Put it down so you could see the top of it. And this score tool comes with it. And this time I'm going to use the little end rather than the big end. And just score all the way down. And I'm going to end up cutting this in half and then into just little bits, little pieces for the mask. When Lorri was doing this, she mentioned doing the mask with the scoring in it is kind of like the little pleats that are in real masks, which is a very clever idea. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to cut this in half and then cut a little chunk of it. I'll show you that. So here are scored pieces. Cut it in half, and now I'm just going to cut off a little bit of it. How about that big? Let me see how big that is. Just big enough to fit over the face. You know, I saw a few girlfriends doing this with the cow, which is really cute, but it just depends on how big the stamped image face is. This one, it might need to be a little bit smaller. It depends on how much you want to cover it. Also, I'm going to put these little strings on here, and I want to make sure you could see those, because if the mask was bigger and you couldn't see the strings, that isn't quite as cute as this. Okay, so I'm going to put glue dots on here. So here I have a little pretend mask with 4 glue dots on it. So I'm going to remove the paper. I'm trying to use up paper pumpkin, and I've been doing kits lately. And they're so generous. I get all these glue dots, but I have to use them. I have sheets of them. just been tucking them away. This is time. This is the time to use them. Okay, well here, let me hold this up close. So, can you see the 4 glue dots in the corners? Now I'm going to use some white twine. Let me see if I can find something dark to put this on to make it easier to see. There you go. Better? I think so. Oh, and I see one of my glue dots is kind of rolled over the edge, so I'm just going to take the adhesive, make sure it's on the underside of the mask. Okay, so now here's twine, and here's, they call it baker's twine, and I'm just going to lay it across so that it hits the corners, then lay it across here. And it doesn't take much, because when you look at this, look how much it really takes. What is that, maybe 1/8 of an inch? This one here a little bit more, like 1/4 of an inch. So you don't really need that much extra. And I'm going to take it and tuck it in around behind the face. So I'm going to put glue dots on the back of Piggy's face. I have them on here ready to go. Taking the paper off. And I'll show you a close-up about the placement. And you know, the placement, it isn't so important. It's just somewhere back there, back behind the head. And I'll tell you about these 3 other glue dots in a minute. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 glue dots. Okay, now it's time to put the mask on. And the first time I did this, I put a dimensional right in the middle of the mask, but that made it pop out too much. So this time, for these samples, I did a glue dot right in the middle of that little twine X. So there's a glue dot right in the middle. Okay, this one is ready. Oop. Okay, glue dot on his nose. That's better. So for placement, just take this, move it around to where you like it. And I still, if possible, I still want to see his chin, but I certainly want to see his eyes. And then smush it down. Okay, that's cute. And then take the twine, and it's just going to fall into one or any of those glue dots. It doesn't really matter which one. But I want to try to make sure that the twine is seen. Oh, that one isn't sticking. I'm going to see what's going on back there. Oh, there's no glue dot. It's too low. Well, I could fix that. Lots of glue dots back here. Okay. There is a masked, safe Piggy. Okay, so the next step to getting him done is, see how that's sticking up? I'm going to do another glue dot. Hold on. The next step is to take a mini glue dot and put it right in the middle, because I want the face to have a little bit of pop-up. And then I'm going to open up these glue dots, and that's going to make it a little bit rounded. Here, you'll see. It just makes it look a little more realistic. Okay, here's... I need to get my nails done. Here's a mini glue dot right in the middle. Okay. Oh, and then I'm going to take the paper off of these glue dots. One on the chin, and one on each of the ears. Okay, so where is that Piggy? So I'm going to put the chin down with that glue dot and push the ears down. So now the ears are flat, the chin is right up against the oval, and in the middle it's kind of popped up. Can you see that right through here? Oh, he's cute. Okay, so the inside, all these little glue dot bits all over me. I kind of will be happy when they're gone. So This is going on the inside. Nothing is stamped on the dark color. Let me show you. This is what the inside looks like. I didn't know what to put on the inside for words, so I thought you could say whatever you like. That little piggy out there says plenty. So for this, let's stamp some flowers. Because these are colored in Memento, or in blends, I'll use Memento ink. So maybe there. Oop, that didn't turn out good. I like the green leaves showing. Otherwise, it's a whole bunch of Blackberry Bliss and Purple Posy. Okay, that's adorable. So, here it is all colored in with a smudge on it. Not good. If ever you do a smudge, I have no idea what that smudge is from. First, take your adhesive remover, see if that gets it gone, which it's not. Maybe it eased it up a little bit. But then I have a sand eraser. Sand eraser 512A from Tombow. I saw that online. But what this does is it takes off a minute layer of paper. It's helping. And so it will pretty much take off any ink smudge you do. But if you keep rubbing in a certain spot, it will become rough, as if you took sandpaper to your paper, which isn't so good. But it's working in this case. It's still smooth. I see a little bit more. I'm not going to do too much. There, that's better. Okay, so I will put this down. And I'll go in here. Okay, there is a piggy card. Isn't that just adorable? So if you can, subscribe to my blog. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, because I'm watching them. Sometimes I see that only one person liked the video. Other times there's more, but I do watch it. It's good to know what you like. And if you'd like to order anything, you could do it through my blog, or send me a message and I'll get stuff ordered for you. So, good chatting with you. Until tomorrow, I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.